My name is Justine Snyder, and I am here to take you on a journey through Gothic architecture. Gothic is a style of visual art and culture. It was developed around 1140 in the Isle de France, which is why Gothic art was originally called French style. Don't be confused though. French style referred to specifically architecture, and as we will learn, it not only dominates France, but it dominates all of the great cathedrals of Northern Europe. The name Gothic, however, derives from the Italians. The Italians have a barbarian tribe called the Goths, and because the Italians found the buildings to be strong, broad, and barbaric, they named it after the Goths. Structure is very important when it comes to Gothic architecture. It has very distinguishable characteristics, such as having a soaring quality, vast windows, pointed arches, ribs, and flying buttresses. Soaring quality. This picture is of Nicholas of Ely Cathedral in Salisbury. I wanted to show you this because this is just proof again that not all Gothic architecture is in France, even though that is where it had started. This is in Salisbury, England. I also picked this picture because it's a good example of the soaring quality. In all Gothic architecture, the walls are thin and the height of the buildings holds as a reflection of religious ideas. Unlike the Romanesque architecture, where you would feel as if you were bound to the ground. At Pierre de Montreal, it is obvious that the vast windows have become a Gothic staple, and the stained glass is so detail-oriented it has created an atmosphere for spirituality. This is a Gothic revival piece that I used to tell about the pointed vaults and arches. As you can see, unlike Romanesque semicircle arches, this has a point at the end. This is a revival from St. Michael's in Toronto, Canada, and even though it's a revival, it looks just as old as originals and follows the values of the pointed arch. The arches are pointed to exert less lateral force as compared to the Romanesque semicircle. The ribs. I have highlighted the vaults in red and the ribs in yellow. This is a picture of our book, and I chose it because it is a great example of how the ribs are used to support the vast bolts. Where the red lines are, you can clearly see that that is where you will be walking under. The ribs are there to hold the roof, to support the vaults so they do not collapse. This is a picture from Royal Abbey in St. Denis. But also to hold support on the vaults are the flying buttresses. I have circled one, so hopefully you can see what a flying buttress is. This one here at the southeast end of the Cathedral of Notre Dame, Paris, is massive, but it is stunning. Like ribs, they are there for support. However, they support the exterior of the building, and luckily enough, they cannot be seen from any of the interior windows. These are some fun facts that I had about Gothic architecture. By the 13th century, which isn't too long into Gothic architecture being popular, considering it started in the mid-12th century, the Gothic style was the only style of building through Northwest Europe. and the Gothic windows became so large they had to put stone supports in them. Much like the picture we looked at earlier of the Pierre de Montreal, those windows were very narrow. However, they were very tall, and they needed stone supports so that way they wouldn't collapse. The end. Surely we had to adjust from Gothic to Renaissance times. What started in the 12th century held strong until the 16th century, and I can honestly say that Gothic architecture is my favorite time period for architecture.